Okay, third time's the charm because I deleted the first two by accident, so I really hope this works. Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I have decided to start vlogging. That's a really loud tractor. Well, I have decided to start vlogging because everybody always asks me, what is it that you do, how did you get started, and how can they make it work for them as well. So if you're interested in travel, working online and doing it for quite cheap, then please keep watching because this is for you. So I have been living and working abroad since 2009, but it's only in the last few years that I've started working online and combining it with something called pet sitting. So that really gives me the freedom to move around, to live in loads of different places and to not really spend that much money as well. Travel has always been a really big part of my life. Ever since I could remember, I wanted to just get out into the world, have an adventure, but you do need quite a bit of money for that, and I definitely did not have rich parents or the bank of mum and dad funding my travels. Actually, I have borrowed a little bit of money, maybe here and there, like a couple of hundred every now and then if I'm really stuck, but there is a big IOU that my mum has stuck to the refrigerator that I definitely need to pay back, and she's not forgetting anytime soon. So yeah, basically I've paid my way. And sometimes it's been quite difficult, but definitely since I started working online, it's been so much easier. I've had so much more money, and to be honest, my bank balance is not particularly impressive, so if I can do it, anyone can do it. So how did I get started? Well, originally I have trained and worked as a zoologist, and my idea was to move myself to another country and start working. But I would need to learn the language. I would need probably about 3 to 6 months while you try and get into a job opportunity in another country. And I just didn't have enough money to live for 3 to 6 months without working. So a good option for me was TEFL, which is Teaching English as a Foreign Language. That is one of my dogs barking in the background. Yeah, so a good option for me was Teaching English as a Foreign Language, and this was perfect because it's really easy to get qualified. You just go online and Google TEFL courses, loads of options come up. You can go for the really expensive ones like the CELTA, which is like a degree version, or you can do anything from like, I think the lowest is 20 hours. Personally, I wouldn't recommend that, but you can see the different options available to you. After I qualified online, basically you go onto the websites and it's like a buffet of job opportunities. You can literally pick your contract type, whether it's got accommodation or not, and you just pick whatever country you feel like going to. It's really, really good if you want to travel like that. And that's kind of what I did at the beginning. I went to Brazil and Italy and Spain, teaching English face-to-face as a foreign language. Actually, only really in Milan I had been offered a job before I went. For Brazil and for Spain, I just turned up, and that is much more difficult, and I will definitely make a video on that if that's something you're interested in doing. But yeah, I did it, and I did it without as well, so both options are possible. While I was working in Spain, my boyfriend started working online, and by the time the summer came and my school term had ended, I made the switch to working 100% online as well, and suddenly we had all this freedom. Like, we just made a list of 12 places we wanted to live, and we were trying to figure out how we could just move around and live in all of them across the year. It was going to be quite cool, so that was our plan. Randomly, we went for dinner with some friends one night, and one of them told us that his parents had joined this website called TrustedHouseSitters.com, and they hadn't been home in about 2 years. They'd just been traveling around the world, staying in people's houses, looking after their animals. And we just kind of looked at each other and said, okay, how do we get involved in that? That was really simple. We went on the web page, we created an account, and we kind of started house sitting straight away, really. We really got into it, and we've been doing that full time now for about 18 months. We started in September 2016 and now it's September 2018, so far we've had round about 25 sits. That really ranges anything from 1 week has been our shortest and 3 months has been our longest. We decided to stay in Europe because with working online, we wanted a stable time zone, and that just worked out the best for us. So far we've lived in 21 cities across the UK, Belgium, Holland, France, Spain and Italy. And that's not even countries and cities that we visited when we've been between sits. So we've been to Paris, we've been to Amsterdam, we've been to Luxembourg. You really get a good opportunity to just travel anywhere when you're doing this. So what people really want to know is how much I spend and how I can spend that. So in a typical month, because we're not paying rent and we're not paying bills, we're only really paying for food and sometimes travel costs. So in terms of food, it varies a little bit between countries, but probably 40 euros a week, more or less, on grocery shopping, and eating out is probably our biggest expenditure. We are vegan, so sometimes there's really good options and we can eat out maybe once or twice a week. Other times it's not so good. France, I'm looking at you. And yeah, when we're in the countryside in a little village and there's nowhere that we can eat and nobody even really understands what vegan is, we save a lot of money because we just don't go to any restaurants. The other thing I mentioned is travel. We did buy a car, so we are paying each £100 every month for our car. For us, it's worked out really well because literally all our life, all our stuff is in the back of the car. We just move it from sit to sit. And if you're doing house sits that are more out in the countryside or quite isolated, it really is quite helpful. However, you don't have to do this. You can pick sits that are more well connected, that are in the city. A lot of sits also let you use their own car as well. So it's been useful for us, but it's not 100% necessary. £100 a month is not a huge outgoing considering it's our only thing that we're really paying for regularly. But then of course you've got things like petrol and toll roads, particularly in Europe. So yeah, if we're doing a month where we're just kind of staying in one place, maybe we fill up the tank once, maybe twice, because we're going into the city or we're going to the supermarket. If we're doing a shorter sit and we're moving, we could be traveling from country to country, so it could be maybe a couple of times filling up the tank, a couple of tolls. I think on average, with parking as well, maybe 50 euros a month. It's not much. Obviously when we're staying in the sits we don't pay for anything except our own food, but there are times when we have a couple of days between sits. Obviously we try and pick sits that really work with our schedule, so we don't end up with big gaps between where we want to be, and it's easy to travel from one to the other. If we're in England, hotel mum and dad, always good. If we're not in England, it is normally Airbnb because it's the cheapest. It can just be a room for the night, or it can be an apartment for a week. I don't know, but we normally pick, again, because we have the car, we can pick ones that are outside the city centre and that are therefore much cheaper. But I don't know, maybe definitely less than 100 a month. I would say average maybe anything from 50 to 80, depends how much we're traveling around. So yeah, we really don't spend much. I would say anything from 300 to 400 euros a month, which is really not a lot. And if you don't have a car and you're not paying for transport in that way, okay, maybe the transport costs are the same if you're using a train, but if you're not paying for a car, it's much cheaper as well. Considering our outgoings are so low, we also have the freedom then to maybe relax a little bit with work. I do actually work 7 days a week, but only Saturday mornings, and Sundays are usually pretty quiet as well. But a good average for me in the weekday, Monday to Friday, is anything from 5 to 7 classes per day. But considering I do work from 8 AM to 9 PM, that leaves a lot of hours free in the day. So things like taking a walk, going to a cafe, watching a movie, having a nap. These are all really real possibilities for me on a daily basis. So I don't know anybody else who on a Wednesday can watch a movie and take a nap while they're working. Well, not while they're working, but in between the working day. So yeah, it's a pretty good life. So thanks for watching my video. I hope it's been useful for you. I hope you've got some inspiration and maybe some tips. For future videos, I will definitely be covering things like getting started as a TEFL teacher, starting your own online business, which I forgot to mention that we started our own online business as well. So I can do a video all about that. How you can get started working online and working towards being a digital nomad like we are. Also, because I've been traveling for so long, it would be nice to maybe do some travel videos to give you my experience. Literally anything you can think of, I've probably done it. Things like finding an apartment in another country, learning another language, going to the dentist to have your wisdom teeth out, did that. Being in hospital, yeah. Please comment anything you would like to see in future videos, like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.